Okay, everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. It is Wednesday, November 10th, 2021. I do apologize for missing my post-market wrap-up yesterday. Most of you realize I told you I had to attend a funeral. It was more like a celebration of life, actually. It was very, very nice. Anyway, people, with that said, let's move forward here and start to put this thing together. What I'm about to tell you, again, is no surprise to any single one of you that follow this blog. But of course, if you were to turn on CNBC, Fox Business, any of the mainstream channels, they are aghast yet again at the economic news today. So let's talk about that. Mostly, this is about inflation, which continues to surge out of control. I do not understand really. Well, I do. These mainstream, commentators out here, they just don't get it. Either that, or they're just mental midgets of the highest order, or they're trying to sell you a lie. Again, the game is very simple. You must be led to believe that everything is fantastic and tremendous and great. Inflation, transitory, everything's going to get better. No, it's going to continue to get much worse, as I have outlined for all of you, I don't know, for a very, very long time. There's no end to it. So let's talk about this. So we found out that the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, now just hit a 31-year high. Month over month, okay, inflation is surging. Way higher than they expected, not you, okay? We already understand this, people. It's out of control. It's always higher than expected. And look, it's very simple to understand. We have an issue here, which I have explained would eventually happen. Federal Reserve, central banks around the world have flooded the world with debt on an unimaginable scale. Let's stick to the Federal Reserve because I'm here in the United States, and the US dollar remains the world reserve currency, for which the Fed is, literally giving pallets of cash away in digital form to central banks around the world who are buying assets with dollars. Okay, they're effectively dollarizing the entire world. So what's happening here is it's very, very simple to understand, people. It's economics 101. We have a situation where since the meltdown of '08, the Fed has done nothing but buy assets, print cash out of thin air, and created a situation where there is quadrillions, if you add in dollar derivatives, of dollars floating around the world. Just simply now they are seeking to chase the same amount of goods. You understand? It's very simple. We knew this was going to happen. Everyone knew this was going to happen with a functioning brain. So we're seeing now all of these extra bills, in whatever form they exist, starting to chase the same amount of goods. At the same time, we got the Federal Reserve continuing to run their inflation creation machine, issuing debt through one door, buying it back through another. They are deliberately trying, and being very successful at it, to create inflation. Okay, I told you since time immemorial, central banks are going to inflate, and then inflate some more. Duh! So what do we... I really, like I said, you got Fox Business, Bloomberg, CNBC, and they got these commentators like, what's happening? You gotta be kidding me, really. So, again, month over month, inflation is surging way higher than expected. Consumer prices at 31-year high, and we haven't seen anything yet. We're gonna see, again, we've never seen this pace before. Yes, inflation is rising, and it's pretty astounding, okay, but it's the pace of it. It's never risen this fast ever before. And this pace is going to continue the trajectory it is on, again, and it's by design, people, by design. What did people think was going to happen? Let's see. An event was created to shut down the global economy. You know what I'm talking about. This has allowed central banks to fulfill their end game. Their end game, their final solution, to be the lenders and buyers of last resort, to own it all. So this mechanism, okay, first of all, it's been going on for quite a long time. I explained to all of you that the last three presidents, Obama, Trump, and this new freak right now, and he's a freak of the highest order, have done more to empower the Federal Reserve than every single president before them combined, going back to George Washington. Okay, I know a lot of you don't want to hear that because of whatever your reasons may be, but if you recall how this played out, I mean, it's an insane thing. Each one of these presidents calling on the Fed to continue to issue debt. The last president, Trump, calling for the Fed to actually go negative with rates, calling for a weaker dollar. So, I mean, you can't make this stuff up if you try to. And this current president continuing to borrow cash into existence using any avenue available. Again, the system demands that debt be pulled out of the future in greater and greater amounts. No president, I don't care how much you love them or worship them, will never tell you the truth of how the system works. It's debt-based. A debt-based system literally demands that debt be borrowed in greater and greater amounts just to sustain where we are. And this, every dollar that a central bank is called upon to issue makes them exponentially stronger. Exponentially stronger. How do we end the Federal Reserve? We prevent them from issuing one single dollar. Just one, and I'm not making this up. If we had a leader who would stop or prevent the Federal Reserve from issuing $1 extra of debt, the Fed implodes. $1, and I am not making this up. I really mean that. The system demands debt be piled on, and it's not going to stop. This is why every president must borrow more than the previous one, especially in this environment with everything is completely out of control. Look, the mechanism here since the meltdown of '08 is very simple to understand. The meltdown of '08 was simply the market trying to establish a fair value. It was not allowed to do that. When the Dow hit 6,000, okay, went from 12 to 6,000, the Fed jumped in here and started buying assets like they've never bought before, and it has never stopped, okay? All the Fed did was reinflate Yes, they did reinflate a housing bubble, in my opinion, by keeping rates suppressed. They've also massively reinflated. In fact, they've inflated the largest stock market bubble the world has ever seen. There's nothing that even comes close. And it's not going to stop as the Fed continues to buy assets here. So seeing things like month-over-month inflation surging at its fastest pace ever, inflation at a 31-year high and going much, much higher, this should not be surprising to anyone. And here's another piece of economic news. Continuing unemployment claims came in higher than expected. People, every single month, Net, we are losing jobs here in the United States. We're losing jobs every month. But you're not allowed to know that either. Again, look, the propaganda ministry out here is designed to twist your mind in every way possible. You cannot be allowed to really understand what's going on around you. And nothing is what it seems to be, like I've been telling you for the longest time. People that get locked into believing that convinced, let's put it that way, like the mainstream media is sitting here trying to convince you that what you're seeing is not real. Well, they're just lost. But if you follow this blog, you have a very, very, very clear understanding as to what's going on here. Anyway, let's move on to the markets real quick. So right now, stock futures, last time I looked, were slightly lower. Crude oil catching a slight bid, cryptocurrencies flat, gold and silver getting bid higher very nicely, MMRI a nudge higher, about 87, 87 and change. People, we know what to do, we know why we're doing it, and if we keep our eyes open, all right, and we understand this, and I know we do, all right, we come here this is like our gathering time, our meeting room, like our war room, all right, we sit here and we understand what's going on and we take action. Like I said, this channel is for men and women of action, all right, not for people that want to sit back here and do nothing, okay. I'm expecting you to take action, all right. This is a war. This is a war right now. And the central banks around the world, none more so than the Federal Reserve, is taking over the world without firing a single shot. And it's just being allowed to happen. It's an astounding thing to see. Like, people, you know this. We have no representation anymore. We haven't had representation in a very long time. Sure, we've had actors sitting behind the Resolute desk, and I told you it could be a talking, freaking kangaroo. It wouldn't make any difference, and there would be people that would worship that talking kangaroo. People are very interesting things. They want to find some kind of individual to make a savior out of some kind of deity. And again, they put their faith in this individual, and this is what it's designed to do as well, to keep people, believing in something that's just not true. That's just not going to happen here. I mean, Obama had those that worshipped him. Trump had people that worshipped him, and believe it or not, Bidenstein has people that worship him too. That's the truth, and it's always the same thing. It becomes a religion. This is why, politics and religion are the great dividers. When people start to get into conversations with regard to politics and religion, there's no secret why it's these two things here. They keep people divided because politics itself becomes a religion, and it's not. Anyway, people, look, I'm out here. Very important video. Covered lots of things with you. Astounding numbers here. Astounding numbers. Inflation continues to surge at its fastest pace on record. Month over month, of course, higher than expected. Continuing unemployment claims come in higher than expected. Our economy is in free fall. The global economy is in free fall. And the central banks will keep it that way until they finish their final solution, which is to own it all, to become the governing and ruling body of the world. This is the new world order. The banks run it all of it. And once you understand that, well, I think you'll be a lot better off. Love you a lot. Please share the video. I will see you at the end of the day.